What's up, everybody? Awkward Anxious Jennifer here. Sorry I haven't done a video in so long. I've been busy with work and distracted with other things and just not really had any good ideas on what to do a video about. But lately, my primary fandom, the Wanjai New Golf, has been, a lot of people have been struggling lately. And either leaving the community or reaching out to me or just voicing their issues. And so it made me think about, how does being part of a fandom affect your mental health? So I did some research, and I'll put some of my links to my research down below, and also some resources at the end for, if you're having help and if you're struggling and need help. So anyway, as I researched this, I found out that a lot of studies are showing that, generally speaking, being part of a fandom is really good for your mental health. It promotes a sense of community. It connects you to other people with a common interest. It gives you a sense of belonging. Like for me, I've met many Wanjai friends throughout the world through this. And in a year where it's been harder to connect for most of us, being part of a fandom gives us a way to connect with other people, and that's really powerful and really good for your mental health, to have ties with other people, to have friends, to have common interests with people, to be part of a group. Being part of a fandom is also a form of escapism, and a lot of us have a lot of crap that we want to escape right now, whether it's directly because of the virus, indirectly, nothing to do with the virus, just crap going on in life. Having an interest in being part of a fandom, can be a good escape. So, generally speaking, being part of a fandom is good for your mental health. But there are exceptions. So particularly it's like some fandoms can be toxic. Well, let's start there. There are always going to be people on the extreme side of a fandom who cause stress and problems and issues for other people in the fandom. And that can be really hard to deal with. There does seem to be a little bit of a connection between mental illness and people in fandoms. Now, it's not necessarily causation. It's not like being in a fandom generally causes mental health issues, although it probably can. It's probably more likely people who have mental health issues, like myself, tend to be more attracted to fandoms. So if you already struggle with a mental illness and you use your fandom for an escape, and then all of a sudden your escape isn't very fun anymore because of, toxic fans or lack of new content or whatever it is, then all of a sudden, what do you do? Where do you turn? What do you do when your safe place is no longer safe? So that can cause a lot of problems. And then going back to the toxic fan side of things, is that celebrity worship has different levels, and it can get to a problematic level. At the very top, you have your stalkers and whatnot. And so it's also important, like toxic fans aren't necessarily quite at the level of stalkers, but they're willing to go to extremes to do what they think needs to be done to protect their idol. And it may not make sense to the rest of us, but, in their head, that's what they think needs to be done, or whatever. So, if you have that aspect, I also tend to get a little bit too interested in my celebrities. And that's something I'm kind of realizing lately. So, that's another thing to keep in mind, is like how, am I getting too invested in these people's lives that it's affecting my mental health? It's something to think about. So what can you do if you are struggling with your mental health as a result of the fandom? One thing is, step away. If your happy place isn't happy anymore, don't keep going back trying to find happiness if it's just causing you more upset. It's okay to just step away for a few days or a week or a few weeks or for whatever, for however long, forever if you need to. Sometimes, as hard as it is, as much as it sucks to let go of your sense of community, sometimes for some people that's the best thing you can do. Another thing you can do is just expand your interests beyond just the one fandom. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do the last couple of months or so. I've started watching new shows and more shows and excuse me, getting more interested in other people besides just New Golf and Tarn Type. So, you don't have to give up your primary fandom entirely, but try to find other things to get interested in. And I know so many Wanjai, including some of my friends, just aren't ready to expand beyond Mule Golf and Tarn Type yet. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. But keep in mind that it's something to consider, that if you're not struggling, great, there's no need to move on. But if you are struggling, then expanding into other fandoms could help, could be a solution. And then it comes down to, if you're really struggling with your mental health, now whether it's caused by the fandom or if you're already struggling and you're using the fandom to cope and it's not working anymore as a coping mechanism or whatever the case may be, please get help, please. I struggle. So I have bipolar disorder, if you're new to my channel. And I struggle mostly with depression. And then every once in a while, I get these, like a week, where I have these big ideas and nothing can stop me from pursuing these big, stupid ideas and making reckless decisions. But mostly I deal with depression and anxiety. And for me personally, being a Wanjai has mostly helped my mental health. But sometimes not so much. But that's not the point. The point is, if you're struggling, please get help. And if you think you can't afford it, most places, I guess I don't know about globally, but generally you can find resources. I actually, last summer, I had a mental health crisis and I walked into the emergency room. I hadn't been on my medication for 6 months. I hadn't been in therapy. I couldn't afford it. I didn't have insurance. I didn't know where to go. And I don't necessarily recommend going to the emergency room because it's expensive, but they gave me resources, which you should be able to find resources elsewhere. Google it, call 411, call around, something. So I was fortunate to get into a program where I'm getting free medication for my bipolar disorder, and I was getting free therapy for a while until I was doing fine without it. And I might go back once I'm fully vaccinated against COVID. But anyway, help is out there. You don't have to fight this on your own. Whether it's depression, anxiety, or anything else, help is out there and you can feel better. I know you might be struggling right now. Some people, not just in fandoms, but a lot of us struggle. And I know what it's like. And things can get better. You just have to reach out and take the first step to get help. So I'm going to put some resources in the description box where you can go if you're struggling with your mental health, if you need help. Resources, information on depression and anxiety. Oh, I was going to list symptoms and I almost forgot. If you're not sure if you might be struggling with depression or anxiety, these are some symptoms of depression. Feelings of sadness, tearfulness, emptiness, or hopelessness, angry outbursts, irritability or frustration, even over small matters, loss of interest or pleasure in most or all normal activities, such as sex, hobbies, or sports, insomnia or sleeping too much, tiredness and lack of energy, so even small tasks take extra effort, either loss of appetite or increased appetite, anxiety, agitation, or restlessness can be symptoms of depression, slowed thinking, speaking, or body movements, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, fixating on past failures or self-blame, trouble thinking, concentrating, making decisions, and remembering things, frequent or recurrent thoughts of death, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, or suicide, or unexplained physical problems such as back pain or headaches. And that's what a lot of people don't know about, and that affects me from time to time, is physical problems that aren't caused, physical pain that's not caused by a physical problem. It's a manifestation of my mental pain. So those are some symptoms of depression. If you've experienced several of those symptoms for at least 2 weeks, I encourage you to get help. And then some symptoms of anxiety. Now there's many different kinds of anxiety disorders, so these are just some general symptoms, but each anxiety disorder will have slightly different symptoms. Feeling nervous, restless, or tense, having a sense of impending danger, panic, or doom, having an increased heart rate, breathing rapidly, sweating, trembling, feeling weak or tired, trouble concentrating or thinking about anything other than the present worry, trouble sleeping, gastrointestinal problems, having difficulty controlling worry, or having the urge to avoid things that trigger anxiety. So again, if you've had several of those symptoms for more than a couple of weeks, please reach out and get help. Whether it's therapy, medication, start by talking to your doctor. There are resources out there, there's help out there, and you can feel better. So anyway, this was kind of a long, rambling, long-winded video. But I guess the takeaway is that being in a fandom can be really good for your mental health. But if it's not anymore, then do what you have to do to take care of your mental health. Whether it's step away, expand your interests, get help, whatever. Just don't cling on to your fandom anymore if it's not bringing you happiness anymore, I guess. So anyway, I guess that's it for me for today. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and I will talk to you all later.